Good day to you and welcome to another Paddocks Club video tutorial. Today I'm going to briefly talk about the need for managing agency qualifications and registration. This is an issue which I must immediately start off by saying, look, I have an interest. I teach sectional title management, so please bear that in mind. I start off by drawing your attention to the fact that any person can be a managing agent. You can get one or more of the sectional owners in a scheme and you can employ them to be the managing agent. A trustee, if they're an owner, can be a managing agent for that scheme. Any other person. Thankfully, most managing agents practice as such in proper managing agents' businesses, but that's not the case everywhere. There is no requirement at all for any relevant qualification. In fact, there is a requirement that that a person who collects levies or has anything to do with the levy collection process should be registered as an estate agent. So one of the partners in a business, not all the employees, not the people who actually deal with the money, but one of the partners in the business, one of the directors or trustees of the business, needs to have an EAAB Fidelity Fund certificate. If you take the recent Constantia sectional title management example, the only person in that entire organization who had a Fidelity Fund certificate was one of the partners, and that wasn't the case for a while. The Estate Agents Affairs Board complained, then that thing was cured, but by the time it was fixed, it was just too far gone. And the bottom line is that there was no adequate training or insurance in that particular case. The basic training that you get to become an estate agent is a training in the sale and letting of property, not in the management of property, certainly not in the sectional title context. The trust accounting given in that context is again the letting and selling, low volume stuff, not really appropriate to the sort of environment in which managing agents operate. Estate agencies, employees and partners need not register with the EAAB. As I mentioned, it is only one of the principles that needs to hold that certificate, and everything is fine. Now, in practice, a managing agent must be able to perform all the services the Act, the Sectional Titles Act, requires from the body corporate and trustees in carrying out the functions and exercising the body corporate's powers. These people are employed, you are employed to do what a good group of trustees should be doing. So you need to know exactly what requirements apply. That means you need a good understanding of the Act. You need to know the particular scheme's rules. You need to understand the administrative and secretarial requirements to be able to keep accounting records. No easy job. Not just anyone can do that. You have to know what you're doing, or have a trained person manage the body corporate's financial position. This is serious stuff. Understand physical management issues and be able to deal with trustees, owners, service suppliers and other interested third parties. The job I've described is not easy, it's not obvious, and it's something for which I believe there should be appropriate qualifications. Why? To ensure that there are reasonable minimum standards in the industry, to protect professional managing agents from unfair competition. At the moment, anyone can just, I'll be a managing agent, yeah, let me just get an Estate Agency Affairs Board Fidelity Fund certificate, and I can be an estate agent. Allow professional managing agents to abandon the complex charging methodologies that currently apply in many instances, and just get on with the job, charge a decent amount for a decent job. My view is that this moves on. There is a need for registration as a managing agent. We need to create a context in which we can define appropriate professional standards, and there should be mandatory registration. There should be a code of conduct for managing agents, and you shouldn't be able to do the job unless you are being held to that code of conduct. There should be a public record of registered managing agents with their details and qualifications available to the public at large, and there should be a supervising body who takes actions, clearly after warnings and suspensions where that's appropriate, but ultimately who is able to remove a managing agent from the role. In other words, to take them away from doing this job when they have acted unprofessionally and their situation can't be cured. We need to do all of this to protect the public against unscrupulous operators and to protect the good managing agents and ensure that they have a decent living. Thank you for joining me in this Paddocks Club tutorial. If you have any questions, we can discuss them in the discussion forum.